Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Understanding Safe Media Guideline Usage for Adolescents, brought to you by Three Cities Public Library. My name is Matt.
And my name is Mike. Together, we each come to the table with about 20 plus years of IT experience. And looking forward to chatting with you guys today about safe usage on the internet.
That's right, about 40 years cumulative of internet surfing between the two of us. So a lot of life wasted. So we'll hopefully be able to put that to use today to teach you some stuff. So social media platforms, Facebook is still the biggest one. It's been around the longest. It has almost 3 billion active monthly users, which is huge. YouTube is next. Instagram and TikTok are coming up fast. TikTok especially is the fastest growing.
But I mean, in the grand scale, we're talking billions of users, right? So I mean, even if TikTok is the fifth, it's still a billion people using the product. So
that's right. With about 7 billion people on Earth, that's a big chunk.
A lot of people to take advantage of.
That's a lot of content too out there. So some social media statistics: North Americans have an average of 8 social media accounts. India has an average of about 11.5. Japan has about 3. So that's an account on each platform where they're interacting. One, it might be a YouTube account, it might be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. And so that's a lot of time spent on social media. The average person spends about 2.5 hours, 145 minutes on social media a day. Nigeria actually tops out at 4 hours a day.
Wow. It's crazy to see even just the difference between North America and Japan, right? Like seven media accounts means that 7 different companies have access to your private data at any given time on average.
That's right. And you're getting 7 different algorithms worth of content scrolling past your eyeballs a day. And India's even worse. They must have duplicates.
Yeah,
they must have.
Yeah, well, because I'm thinking about like you'd have your personal accounts. You'd also have, if your business has an account, or maybe you have a side gig, or you're somebody who makes YouTube videos for a living. You have multiple accounts to do that as well. So
I've also heard that people have different accounts for different content. So like you'd have an account specifically, you would look up video games.
Yeah, you have your news channel, your sports channel, your games channel.
Right, and each one of those is a vector that you can be hacked or manipulated through. So social media is very potentially detrimental to your mental health. About 40% of social media users report that they're addicted to social media, and that's using it every single day, and it has a detrimental effect on their day-to-day lives.
Essentially saying over a quarter, over a third of the people would not be able to give up their devices and or their social media.
That's right. Wouldn't be able to go cold turkey.
Yeah.
And so that the research shows that there's a correlation between social media use and depression, specifically for adolescents. I think a lot of that is teens feeling that their lives aren't as glamorous as the people they follow online, and that comparing their lives together is detrimental to their mental health.
Yeah. And I think about this as, as a young when I was a young person, this would be relative to seeing people in magazines, because that would have been the closest thing you would have had, right? You would look at these celebrities in the magazines and seeing their lives and how, their photos are all touched up and changed and stuff. And now it seems like you're looking at their real life, in that you're getting an inside view, video of what's going on, when a lot of it is actually not real. There's the filters, there's the touch-ups, it's all kind of programmed and processed. And so I can only imagine what that creates, like to live up to kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. That standard of beauty that you'll never be able to reach, because it's all fake. Everything about it is phony.
Mm-hmm.
Adolescents who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media have an increased risk of mental health struggles. So if you are on social media for an extended period of time, get off of it for a little while and go take a walk. Go and touch some grass.
Some fresh air would do you well in that space.
Right, and go interact with some real humans. A lot of the common dangers, and these all exist on any platform online that you log into, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all of these are things to be concerned about. So cyberbullying is probably the most popular, just because it's so easy to be anonymous online and be mean to somebody. You go right online, from high school or being an adult, like you'll get bullied no matter what. Cyber predators are a bad one.
Mm.
A lot of these platforms, you're interacting with strangers, you don't know who they are. And so they will attempt to solicit photos or videos or just be disgusting to you online.
Trick you into doing something and then blackmailing or holding that over you in order to get what they want out of you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, catfishing. A lot of that is the same sort of predator actions. And so they'll get you to post private information, anything like that. Once you've posted it online, it's out there essentially forever. I liken it to, it's like trying to get pee out of a pool. You'll never be able to. Once it's there forever. Phishing, which is the act of somebody trying to get your personal information via email, clicking links, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to get your username and your login for whatever accounts you have. You'll probably notice a lot of emails coming in that have links in them trying to get you to click on them.
It's not always necessarily just some unnamed person too, right? Like you could theoretically be under attack from somebody you know attempting to trick you into giving them your username and password. So it's just a staying vigilant and ensuring that you're protecting yourself at all times while you're online.
That's right. A lot of times these accounts, they will spoof the username and the passwords, and so it'll look like it's coming from someone you know. And you can check the email address and it looks legit, but oftentimes it isn't. So they're getting very sophisticated. So make sure you don't fall for any scams. You can also download malware, which has been a problem as long as the computers have been a thing.
Back when they were called viruses, now it's just kind of different.
Yeah, right? Malicious software sort of encompasses it all. You can click a link and then install a program, and someone will have access to your computer or your phone via that malware that you've downloaded. And this is a really bad one I think people don't really think about when they're posting every dumb thing they do online all the time, is that posts or content that you put out on the internet can come back to haunt you later in life. Mm-hmm. Like I said, none of that material's gone forever. Even with Snapchat, there are ways to screen record or snapshot, stuff like that. So just be smart about what you're posting.
Yeah, things never actually leave the internet, and the harder you try to get rid of it, the more it seems that they get spotlighted. And it's one of those situations where you always have to be mindful and ensuring that you're only putting out the stuff on there. It's really hard to determine what that is. And so I would always recommend that you be, a little bit more defensive and cautious about what you post out there. But it just remember that nothing ever actually leaves the internet, no matter what, and to ensure that you're protecting yourself at all times.
Absolutely. So Facebook is very dangerous. They're so and creepy as well. So they've on more than one occasion they've done experiments on their users where they were feeding them either negative or positive materials to see how it affected their posts in the future and their mental well-being, which is essentially a psychological experiment it's pulling on its users. So, and this was in 2014, and it is they never got fined, they never got in trouble for it. They just do whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times people don't realize how they're being affected by the materials they see.
What's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right? You get your front page and it's all whatever it is, but behind the scenes, the tracking, the creepy analytics,
why it's being fed to you,
and the whole, like, they're performing experiments on you essentially, right? Mm-hmm. Cyber experiments in a way that they're trying, that would be otherwise, if you knew it was happening, you would probably opt out of.
Yes, absolutely. And they don't give you that option a lot of times. They also have a lot of really creepy patents. So they've filed thousands of patents. A lot of them are pretty benign, or just like related to some technology they're using. And so this one allows you to read your relationships. And so that will know who you're friends with, even if you're not actually friends on Facebook with them. One classifies your personality, whether you're friends with expatriates, whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, Tory, whatever. It knows that just from what you post and from what you like. One can predict your future, what school you think you might go to.
Or potentially indoctrinate that or poison that. Maybe maybe what you're thinking is you're going to this specific university, and some other university buys ad space, and now Facebook is feeding you the ad space of that other university, which is changing your potential.
That's right. You'll see ads for that other university, changing your potential trajectory through life. One identifies your camera. If you have a scratch on it and then you take a picture of something else, it will know that you use that camera to take both of those pictures, and it will associate the people in that picture with you because of the little scratches or marks on your camera. It listens to your environment, so it'll pick up what TV shows are playing in the background while you're scrolling, and then feeds you advertisements and whatnot using that information.
Yeah.
Which is so creepy.
And this isn't something that's like, oh, I heard that they listen to you through your phone. Like, this is a legitimate patent that they filed for, and a technology that they essentially either have or that they're developing or that they use on a regular basis, proven.
They maintain that they're not actively listening to your environment, but
that's not what this patent says.
They are tracking your routine, and so a lot of this is actually in use right now. So say you leave your place of work, your phone will tell you, hey, your home is 5 minutes away. Here's your best traffic route.
Or here's a restaurant nearby because it's almost supper time.
Yeah, and it knows that you like burritos, so here's a good burrito restaurant. So it tracks your routine that way, and it'll infer your habits. So it will predict, this person usually stays home on a Friday night. So they'll feed you advertisements.
Here's a skip the dishes advertisement.
That's right.
That, try this new restaurant out. A lot of it seems harmless, but the fact that they're collecting all this data and learning about you can very easily shift from here's a restaurant to this person is now going to be a fan of this, and literally bombard you with this information.
That's right. They keep these in a shadow database about you. And basically it comes down to, do you trust Facebook to keep that data private? With all of the leaks and hacks and whatnot that happen all the time, like, this is information that can easily be leaked and found on a website somewhere about you. It's all very creepy, and you shouldn't trust Facebook at all.
Shouldn't trust any of these companies.
You shouldn't trust any of these.
Your personal private data belongs to you and you alone, and any other company attempting to make money off of that is not okay.
That's right. And so Facebook has an algorithm where it feeds you the materials you want to see, and basically it's like an echo chamber. So what you'll have in your feed, it wants you to interact with it, so it tries to make it as friendly to you, specifically using that information it knows about you to get you to engage with it. And so that leads to, like it said, echo chambers, where it's just the same information again and again, where your biases are confirmed. And that's essentially how they try to get you to interact with their platform.
Yeah. Eventually kind of control your decisions, because they're putting you in with like-minded people, posts and otherwise, and you start to think, well, this has to be the only real choice, because there is no dissenting opinions in this, right?
That's right.
It's kind of freaky in the sense that it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing either. If you are a very negative person and you put out a lot of negativity, then what your feed will be filled with is more negativity and more things, because it doesn't discriminate between what is good and bad. It simply just gives you more of what you interact with. Yeah. And so obviously you can see how that can lead somebody down the path of, say, depression or, illegal things or other things like
radicalization.
That. Exactly.
TikTok is probably the most popular what teens are using these days. It was owned by a Chinese internet company called ByteDance. ByteDance is owned by the Chinese Ministry of Public Security, which is basically an arm of China's government. A lot of their data they keep in China, but I think they've come under scrutiny recently, and I think they're opening up other data centers. But what's important about that is that all of the Chinese government has access to all of TikTok's data. And so if TikTok has access on your phone to your contacts list and your pictures and all of that stuff, it has access to all of that too. And so that is, you don't want a government to have access to all of your content in your devices, regardless of what government it is.
Regardless of where it's stored, the fact that they're collecting the data that they're collecting and they're not telling you what they're doing with it is a cause for concern. You'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, TikTok bad." Honestly, it's all of them. The difference with TikTok being that not even your local, your country's government has access to the data that they're pulling from.
That's right.
And so you don't know what they're doing with this. The thing that bothers me about TikTok is the additional things that they pull information from. They want your device information. They want what is coming through the microphone. They want to know where you're located. They want to know all of these different little bits of information, and they tie that to you, and they use that information for question marks. Who knows what?
Who knows? And so that includes all of your camera roll. So if you've got a compromising photo on there, and then you become a politician later in life, the Chinese government potentially has blackmail material on you.
Back to the point of nothing ever leaves the internet.
Nothing ever leaves. So it's just something to be aware of. It also has a really terrible algorithm. And by terrible, I mean it seems to be sinister, in that a brand new account created in the US was fed pro-suicide and pro-self-harm posts within 2 minutes of being active on the app. And it's different for men and for women. So for men get pointed to a lot of misogynist materials, and women get pointed to a lot of body image materials, all within minutes. Brand new account with nothing tying it to any single person gets pointed towards these self-harm type posts.
Yeah. And it's not until you use the platform a lot that it finally starts to learn what you do and don't like, right? You'll be fed this information, you can swipe past it and move on, and it'll try and learn what you actually like. But the fact that the default stance is that it's leading you there can only assume, or that you can kind of walk the path of future content will be along these roads, and it's to be concerned of. You don't even realize it's happening until it's too late, that your opinions and everything is being kind of infected with this.
That's right, without you even knowing. Snapchat. So Snapchat's pretty bad as well. So it's built on the whole platform.
It's all bad.
It's all bad. But Snapchat is essentially built on the platform of
privacy,
like your posts,
which is kind of ironic, really.
When it isn't, because it says these videos and these messages and pictures disappear, but they don't. They go onto a server Snapchat has. And so, like I said before about Facebook, you're trusting these platforms to not be hacked or to have leaks or anything like that in the future. Snapchat's really used as well, specifically for teenage boys. When they're chatting with someone will add them, and they'll think it's a girl. It looks like it's a girl, and they'll have a little back and forth, and the girl will act like she's interested in the boy, and the boy might send her a picture that is a little racy, inappropriate. And then immediately that girl will say, "I have this photo of you now. Give me
money,
$100 in Bitcoin. Otherwise, I'm going to send it to everyone in your contacts list." And so
it's a real thing.
This happens quite often. And so a lot of people don't even realize that it's happening. Another thing to watch out for is if someone's using Snapchat to communicate with you for work purposes, chances are it's not a sanctioned work thing.
There's a reason why they're trying to be private with their messaging to you.
Yeah, so I know a lot of kids these days are using it, like the group function. They'll have a group chat at their work or anything like that, and then someone will contact them outside of that group chat. A lot of times it's not for work purposes. There's other ways. Snapchat Maps.
Yeah, this is creepy.
This is not a good one. If you make a random like a post, public story post, and you have your location turned on and your Snapchat map turned on, it will show that your location on this map.
And you only get one chance at this. It asks you the first time you bring this open if you want to share your information. If you click yes, it will never pop this back up again. You can go and shut it off, but it won't prompt you, right? Your phone may say, "Hey, your location's been used with this app." But that means that any time that you're taking a photo or a video or anything and you're saving it to your stories, anybody in the world has the ability to see not only it, but your username, where you're located, and where you took that photo. It is Very, very creepy.
That's right. So our advice, if you're going to be using that, is go through those settings, opt out
turn it off.
the public story, and make sure that at least your username is hidden.
And turn your location off. There is no reason to share your location with Snapchat. You do not need to do that. It's a very simple fix. Just turn that location off. You can still use the product just as is. You can communicate with your friends, but at the very least, peeping Tom, so to speak, won't be looking at you on the map, because from literally anywhere in the world, you can see that.
That's right. Creepy randos can see all that stuff. Instagram, it's owned by the same company that owns Facebook. It's named Meta. It has all the same information on you that Facebook does. But the most egregious thing about Instagram is that it promotes an unhealthy lifestyle comparison, more than I think any other platform.
Yeah.
So you scroll through and you see some person who you can kind of comparatively,
the perfect family, the perfect insert type here.
That's right.
And it's just do these steps in order to live this perfect life, when it isn't. It's all fake. It's all,
So this is the number one app that leads to depression among teens, is Instagram. YouTube it's been around for a long time. It used to be more just video hosting.
Just video sharing.
Now it's so much more than that. It's an actual social platform. It's owned by the same company that owns Google, which is called Alphabet Incorporated. Videos that are posted are a lot of times not appropriate. So you can limit your videos, whether it's a YouTube Kids video or for everyone to see. And a lot of times the ones posted to YouTube Kids are not good videos. So a lot of times a kid will be scrolling through and then the next video will play. And it just sort of plays through this. The YouTube algorithm will give you whatever's next in the queue. Yeah. And a lot of times it ends up being very inappropriate videos for children to see.
Yeah. And it doesn't even have to be inappropriate in the sense that it's egregious, right? In some cases, it's just a video of them playing with toys, but saying things that are inappropriate, which the default, algorithm system doesn't actually pick up on, and it leaves the videos up. And you wouldn't know that unless you're literally looking over the shoulder. Be cautious of what you're looking at. I would recommend not falling into the YouTube vortex and watching a video into a video into a video into a video. Be choosy with what you are finding on YouTube. That's what the search feature is there for.
YouTube comments are often needlessly negative and also very toxic. It's one of the most toxic communities online. Creeps will also use the comment section to communicate with each other in videos with kids. This is a big problem for a lot of videos posted a few years ago. Yeah. I'm hoping they've cracked down on it since then, but they would talk in code to each other, and a lot of times it would be coordinates to meet. And very creepy. They would point out timestamps for when kids would be playing. A kid would bend over, they'd put a timestamp for it. These are platforms that allow these things. They're essentially, YouTube is all automated. It needs to be reported, and then I think
it's flagged for moderation.
But even then, it goes through. It doesn't hit an automated person until somebody says, "Hey, wait, that is appropriate. Can a person check it?" Then a person steps in.
There's a few steps. I would just recommend, if you're somebody that does post videos to YouTube, that one, you be very careful with the content that you are posting there. You could limit your access to those with the link and make it an unlisted video. However, that kind of defeats the purpose of posting them to YouTube, so I understand that. What I would at least recommend is that to be mindful of the comments in those spaces. If you do see anything that's out of place, to not only delete the comment, but report the comment as well, and just be safe.
That's right. And if you are ever on any of these platforms and you feel harassed or someone has been talking to you in that way, reach out to your parents. Reach out to somebody. Absolutely. That's number one. Reach out to your parents. There was a big controversy with ElsaGate, it was called, with these YouTube Kids videos would have people dressed up as Elsa and Spider-Man and other various characters, and they would do very inappropriate things with each other. And so these would come up in the next up video flow of you just sitting there watching videos, and they are terrible. I
Yeah,
think they've
grotesque.
cracked down
They have,
for the most
quite a bit.
part, but it's one of the biggest controversies YouTube has had.
Yeah, and they snuck through, without
Under the guise of
Yep.
just being kids' videos.
Because, and oftentimes what would happen is a parent would hand the kid their phone, they go into YouTube, and it would be, like they would search for Elsa, and they'd find a coloring page, and then they would find like a Play-Doh thing, and then the next video would be one of these ones, right? By the time that you realize what's happened, it's too late. Again, just be cautious of what you're accessing within YouTube. Always be deliberate with where you're going. If you're looking for a specific type of video, search out that specific type of video. Don't rely on the algorithm to lead you from one to the next.
Roblox has gotten more popular recently.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of things to be careful of. It's basically open multiplayer servers filled with people playing a game with open voice chat so that users can talk to each other. There's little policing, no moderation, and all of the user experiences are created by other users. So there can be overly sexual material, stuff like that. So if you are being contacted and you feel harassed while playing this game, reach out to your parents. They can report the users, anything like that.
Yeah. Voice changers exist. It's hard to trust anybody that's on the internet. So
that's right.
The best advice that I would give anybody who's using and I mean this isn't necessarily specific to Roblox, Fortnite, other online games, other online communities, random Discord servers, other things like this. Use the same level of caution, and always assume that the other person you're talking to is not necessarily who they actually say they are. Only your real life friends are your real life friends, but people who you meet on the internet may not necessarily be who they are.
That's the biggest takeaway.
And it's really scary to think, people are getting really good at being deceptive. Like I said, voice changers exist. Even with the oncoming of AI and filters, it is possible to change your own appearance on a video chat. So be extra cautious and defensive when it comes to things like this.
Yeah, don't trust anybody except for your parents. X, which was formerly Twitter. Basically, this one's the biggest issue is that it allows nudity. So if you go in, you can create an account. I think 13 is the age limit for creating an account, and then you have to turn on the nudity at 17, 18.
Yeah.
And there's a huge
it's pretty easy to get past that, right? It's not like it's a giant barrier for entry.
Yeah. And they have huge percentages of fake accounts from foreign countries.
A lot of bots.
And they're trying to sow Discord division and get you to argue.
Yeah.
Like basically this platform is just meant for arguing with other people. And that's all it's basically become. Our big conclusion and takeaways is knowledge is power. Be aware of how the algorithms of these platforms are working to manipulate you into spending more time on them. So make sure then you prioritize your mental health. Get outside and don't spend a lot of time on social media, especially if it's depressing you. Make sure you get away from those platforms, and communicate with your parents. If something is happening online that you feel uncomfortable by on any of these platforms, absolutely reach out to them, and then they can report or take action against it.
Yeah, and I mean, we've been saying it this entire time, but use your best judgment call and always be skeptical, right? Never just trust something at face value. It is incredibly important that you maintain open communication with your parents, your family, your real life friends. If something's going on, tell somebody, and don't let it get out of control.
Thanks for listening. There's more resources can be found on this site. You can scan this QR code with your phone or just input this link, and it'll take you to a Linktree that has a lot of articles and resources and whatnot that you can use to better understand how to protect yourself. So that's it. That's it from us. Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.